Good morning. I'm weather forecaster Nathan DeYoung. Let's take a look at current radar. It's just past the 9 o'clock hour here at Ball State. We're not being affected by a hurricane, but our friends in the south, especially in Florida, are being impacted by the hurricane at this hour. You notice this is Hurricane Matthew, and Matthew is a Category 3 hurricane that is making landfall in Florida as we speak. Hurricane warnings all along the coast, east coast of Florida at this time, including some tropical depression warnings that are also being prompted throughout Florida. Some of those areas being affected and the eye will be passing through within the next couple hours is Daytona Beach, Palm Coast, even Gainesville will be seeing that eye later today, and those winds are sustained at 120 miles per hour. We'll talk about the science here in just a second. All along up the east coast in places of Georgia and up into the parts of South Carolina, those once again hurricane warnings are in effect. People are being evacuated all along the east coast this morning. We're going to talk about the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. This is how winds are measured and how categories are developed for hurricanes. Category 1, winds are between 74 and 95 miles per hour. This is just minimal damage. This is typically what we can see with a strong supercell thunderstorm that would move through the Midwest. As we move into Category 2, you notice winds up to 96 to 110 miles possible, extensive damage. We begin to see leaves ripped from trees and those flags standing straight out from the pole. And then once we move into the next category, which would be Category 3, Hurricane Matthew is currently at this 111 to 129 miles per hour. We're talking devastating winds. You know, storm surges are rising. Storm surges with Matthew anywhere between 7 and 9 feet. Two grown adults on top of each other is what they're dealing with water. And then as we move into Category 4, which Hurricane Matthew was last evening, catastrophic damage. You notice trees are breaking off, leaves are being pulled, the poles are tilting, we have storm surge. It's a deadly storm at this point between 130 and 156 miles per hour. And then if it would ever reach Category 5, which is the highest category possible, we're talking catastrophic damage. Winds in excess of 157 miles per hour are possible. Looking at the wind forecast for Florida over the next basically day and a half here, winds will die down as Matthew pushes out back to the sea. However, winds will remain quite breezy as Hurricane Nicole begins to make its way over to the United States between 40 and 50 mile per hour winds possible. This is a map that indicates the probability of damaging winds just to Hurricane Matthew itself. The darker shades of purple here indicate a high probability of damaging winds that could be still in that Category 2, Category 3 category, and then as we branch out, the probability gets less. But once again, another deadly storm, Hurricane Matthew, as of 9:03 a.m.